Today, I want to talk to you about something that I think is being a bit convoluted and the conversation around is a bit vague. So I want to explain why the activity that you're seeing on screen right now, Advent, has somewhat of a bait activity and why the sentiment around it is not nearly as clear as other activities. So if you haven't done other activities in epicseven, like other side stories, you are probably aware of the fact that most of these activities are clear to completion. In other words, if you find something like Rift or if you see something like Halls of Trial, you want to complete or receive maximum rewards. And that makes sense. That's what every single video game has you do. However, with Advent specifically, there's been this ongoing sentiment that sometimes you can actually avoid doing the light connection. And well, that exactly means is that people don't really feel like clearing epic hell difficulty, and by contrast, like you miss out on this event currency, which normally or in the past would kind of be unfortunate because, well, oh my god, like look at all these activities or all this event currency that you miss out on. However, that's actually not the case this time around, simply because, well, you can exchange basically these leaf cycles in exchange for the normal the decayed twigs that you get from completing any of the stages of the Advent. Now, to be clear, if you don't end up clearing the hardest difficulty, which is, of course, Epic Hell, you obviously miss out on this and you miss out on this additional light connection here at the bottom. But I'm here to tell you that while a lot of people have formally said that it's not worth it to complete the Light Advent and it's not worth it to complete the Epic Hell version of the Light Advent specifically, this time around, it's kind of different. And I'm not going to give the exact, I'm not going to pretend that I've completed all of Epic Hell, even if I move my screen over. Truth be told, I haven't gotten around to it either. However, I have a couple notes here in case you guys are curious about how to clear or what to clear with this. But before I get into that, let me make something absolutely clear. If you are someone that doesn't care about the advice of, or just want to clear everything anyways, feel free to complete however you choose. It's your account. You can do whatever you want at the end of the day. However, this is a light summon connection. And if you aren't familiar with what this variation of the light connection bookmark is, it's a 3 to 5 star summon. Now, if you get a 4 or 5 star, I'm super happy for you. Congratulations. You can get someone like Light Sid. You can get someone like Angel of Light, whatever character you like. However, for a lot of people, sometimes regearing for or trying to complete the Epic Hell in other Advents makes them lose their mind. It makes them very unhappy and they don't want to play the game anymore. However, the current nature's decline and decay, the new Advent for grass, is pretty simple. Now, let me explain. For the current Epic Hell, and I haven't done it myself, of course, because I haven't had haven't had time to regear or anything, there are 3 things to know about this Advent. First and foremost, there is the Advent will hit in your first team the character with the highest attack, which means that in most cases, you want someone like Senya or you want someone like the Flan to kind of soak that. And for the Epic Hell variation of this, you want the Senya or, well, I guess specifically the Senya in this case, as opposed to Flan. Flan is serviceable for Hell mode, but you want Senya to have effectiveness so that you can provoke a target and then hit it while it's provoked 5 times. Which is, okay, not the most insane mechanic. Now, you might think that the second one is even more annoying, and it kind of is, but not that annoying if you have done the former Rift where you needed a fire haste, because what the next, I guess, stage has you do is debuff one enemy with 3 debuffs, and after they have the 3 debuffs on them, attack them 5 times in a row. Well, 5 times total, which is, okay, not that big a deal. As a side note for this, by the way, the amount of effectiveness that you need roughly for all these, I believe hovers between 80 and 100. I think if you click on him, he will say how much effect resistance. We'll go into it and we'll see exactly how much we need, but it's roughly 80 to 100. And then the final stage, believe it or not, after this is, well, just a rundown. There is literally no need for, or it doesn't matter what else ends up happening here on the end. You just need to kill the boss as soon as possible because you've cleared everything. Now, if that sounds, well, simple, It is, because that's literally all it is. And for Epical, and assuming you have the effectiveness or the effect resistance enough for these teams, you should be fine. And of course, I get it. There are a couple limiteds here. There are some characters that you're not maybe privy to having. And so I have some alternatives. If you don't have someone like Midnight Gala Lilius, of course, you could maybe run something like Celine, Zahak, Violet, and that should service a little bit more. However, you do have to remember that with this team 1, you won't have a defense break or you won't have a defense pen if you don't have Gala, which is okay. That is cause for concern a little bit, so you may have to change your team out a little bit more. But for the second team, you're a little bit more limited. Of course, there are some other fire debuffers that you could take. You pretty much just need to take any sort of debuffer, maybe a fireball instead. I was trying to find him. I guess I can't find him. Like a fireball, you know, maybe even someone like Fire Arminta. In general, though, you do want someone that can defense break, and that's obviously why people are taking characters like Tenebria and Fire Haste, which is okay. Now, the unfortunate thing is that for this last one, I've tried looking at the different variations of teams that you could use for this. And yeah, you could definitely replace maybe someone like Milim with the Sermia, and yes, you could technically replace someone like Elfelt with another defense breaker like Elagos or something, but a lot of the alternatives to this final team don't actually feel nearly as common for people or players to have, and in that sense, it feels unfortunate because you, of course, want the defense break and you want to deal a little bit of damage, and Lydica's role is actually a lot more restrictive. Lydica and I guess her counterpart Elagos, which is who you would replace her with, are kind of forced into the same spot because they not only have the ability to wear why can't I remember what it's called? It's the Ranger artifact that gives you Confile, Miss Confile. They're both able to wear this artifact, but also at the same time, you want them to push back the enemy. Now, for Lydica, this is a lot. This is 100%. And for Elagos, it's not nearly as much, but still good. And Elagos, of course, does a little bit of damage. But both of these characters are not super common. If you're using Lydica, you may have used her for Abyss or something like that, and that's okay. But all in all, although it is definitely more simple and the actual mechanic behind it is not nearly as difficult as people make it out to be, I do still think that some of these characters and some of these units are ones that you're going to have to go out of your way to build or maybe use the Graceful Growth for, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. Relative to that, however, the Epical is really not that bad. I have effect resistance on my Senya, of course. If I could, I would probably switch out all the ER I have for F here. But let me take it back for a second. So I just explained to you basically everything that you need to know about Epical. There's, of course, a little bit of damage, and you want to have things like damage artifacts on your characters. As a side note, Daydream Joker only works to 50% effectiveness, so it is what it is. But all of that explanation and all of what you just saw right there for, well, 1 3 to 5 star summon. Now, again, I'm not going to gatekeep people wanting to get maximum rewards. That's totally fine. But despite everything that I just told you, if, for instance, you decided that you wanted to just run the hell mode, right? What you could just do is, well, take your Flan, who, if you haven't pulled for Flan is absolutely ridiculous, and just hands off, don't need to care about it. You just auto. And if you take a look at the run that we're going to have right here, nothing is super out of the ordinary. I didn't even switch the set on my Gala Lilius. My Flan, of course, doesn't have her, or, she has her artifact, but it wasn't maxed, which is okay. But all in all, we're sitting here. I'm getting my S3 off. I'm doing a decent amount of damage. I don't have to worry about pretty much anything when it comes to this run. I haven't even, I don't think I looked at this team one time after putting them in the exact order that they were already built prior to this for either Rift or for some other PvE activity. And you could see it's quite fast, to be honest. Obviously, I wish that there were some things that ended up changing, or I wish that I had changed maybe some of my other artifacts. Like, maybe I don't need Magic for Friends. Maybe it would be better if I had another damage artifact here. But in most cases, that's just it. There, like, if you want to clear the hell version of this game mode, you don't even have to care about the chance for an Elson to show up. Again, I don't have like a very well built Lidica or even Elfelt in this case. I also got RNG lost a little bit. They just have effectiveness and they have a little bit of crit rate, I guess. I gave my Elfelt Song of Stars to make it a little bit more fluid, but as you can see here in a moment, that's it. That's it. That's a whole activity. I'm gonna leave it go into the background so we could talk a little bit more. But in case you were thinking that some of these characters were you know, ridiculously built or super psychotic, they aren't, and that's kind of the point of what I was trying to get at with today's video, which is that, like, yeah, you know, maybe I have some okay pieces, but like, what is this? What is this? Huh? Like, this? I've got like 35 extra effectiveness in a sense. I've got portrait on this character. My Millum, I guess, is okay. She's got some like nice, obviously like crit rate pieces, or she's got some nice rage pieces, but I'm like 161 speed for some reason. My haste, I haven't changed since Rift. You know, again, he's kind of super fast for no reason. And guys, the point of today's video is to kind of, again, raise awareness to the fact that the new Advent has been called, or doing Epic Hell in an Advent has been called a scam. You get a 3 to 5 star summon, and until they change it to 4 to 5 star, it is always going to feel kind of bad if you get an Elson, if you get a Sonya, or you get whatever character that ends up not being a 5 star. And if you spend a load of time trying to complete the Epic Hell activity, spend maybe even millions of gold regearing your account to do so, by all means, it is okay to skip it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with skipping the new Advent activity. However, and what I wanted to give context to is that the new one is honestly not that difficult. I really sincerely have not changed that much about it. Of course, you will have to regear a little bit, but even from the characters that I have here, based on what I've heard about how you actually clear the activities, it's not very difficult at all. Landing one provoke and then hitting it, not that insane. Debuffing it when we already have characters like haste built and then hitting it a couple times, really not that insane. That being said, I am more than aware, or I'm more than happy to admit, that the suggestions and the strategies to clear these activities do look a little bit goofy, especially because you need certain characters to make it work. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't say that it's so insurmountable that you shouldn't ever do this activity. In any case, guys, that was just my small rant, my small kind of awareness. I wanted to give you, or I wanted to talk about this topic while also providing something to you all in terms of, again, the activity, in terms of the clear. I know people have already covered clears for it, but I've seen a lot of people say, don't do it, it's not worth it. Oh, why would you ever do this? And kind of like gatekeeping the activity, which feels kind of weird. Especially because there's really no reason to do that. You know, if you don't do it, that's okay. But like trying to make other people not do it, kind of weird. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, though. Again, pretty nice that you get these decayed twigs. You get all the rewards that you can think of. And you can clear out the, you know, obviously clear out the activity and gain all the rewards. As a side note as well, Epic Hell is only clearable 3 times, which is, well, not that big a deal, all things considered. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you did, make sure to check out the rest of my socials. Check out the rest of my videos. And yeah, hope you guys got something out of this video. It was just going to be short, simple, sweet. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.